Hey everybody, how you guys doing? It's Yvonne here, and I'm here to show you how to make another card. And this card here is in a different fold again, something a little different that I'm sure whoever you give it to would be more than happy to receive it. It makes a difference out of just a regular card that opens. So it's so easy. Let me show you how to make this basic card. First of all, what you'll need is a piece of cardstock. I have a piece here of the color of your choice. I have a piece here in, I don't know if it's grapefruit or I'm not quite sure what the color of this is. But anyway, I'm going to cut it down at 5.5 like a regular card. Just like a regular card here. And I'm going to score it at 4.25 to make a card 5.5 by 4.25, if you know what I mean. Okay, so now I have my card. This is my card base. Okay, you have a card base just like what I have here. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to cut it. But how do you cut it is where the little trick comes in. And it's not difficult at all. Once you've done your fold in the center, which makes your card 4.25 by 5.5, you will open it up, bring it to your cutter, and half of 5.5 is 2 3/4. So you're going to come to 2 3/4 on your card here, and you will then slide down your cutting tool and line it up. Excuse my head here, but I'm just going to line it up, make sure that I cut it at the right place. You're going to line it up right on the score line here, and you're going to cut down. Okay, it's easy as that. So now you have one part and the second part here, but you can't use this part because this is going to be in the way. So what we're going to do here is, my card's going to be like this. I'm going to cut. You're going to look at your card, keep the bottom flat, okay? So you're going to keep the bottom flat, and you're going to cut this here. Now you can cut it with a cutter, cut it with your scissors, wherever you feel more comfortable, but this is going to have to be cut off. Okay, so you end up with a card looking like this, okay? Now you're going to need another piece to go over here to turn over. So you're going to take your other piece of cardstock, which is the remainder of the cardstock you had there, because this part here, you can fit it over there, but you have nothing to attach it to. So we're going to need a piece that's about 1/4 inch longer. You can go 1/2 inch longer if you like. So I said or something. 5.5, 4.25. 4.5, 4.25, 4.5. Let me cut up another piece here. It's 4.25. Okay, 4.5 by 2 3/4. This should do the trick. I cut it just a little short. This should do my. Yep. Okay, so what I did wrong, I just cut 1/4 inch wrong. So what you're doing, you're adding your 4.25 here, and you're adding another 1/4 to it, so that makes, this is 4.25, and you're going to add 1/4 inch. So 4.25 by 2 3/4. You're going to cut out a piece like this, and with the 1/4 inch, you're going to score it at 1/4 inch here. Then you'll take your glue, tape, whatever you have I like the glue because it gives me time to have it set, and then I don't have to worry about ripping my cardstock. I align mine to the bottom, open up the top, make sure that everything is aligned perfectly, and I just fold like so. So now I have a card that opens up this way, and I have a card that opens up that way. It's as simple as that. Okay? One on each side. And then to decorate it, see how quick it comes together. All I did was I took the coordinating pieces. In this case, I did the pink, sorry, and or whatever color this color, but it really doesn't matter what color I use. It's what you guys have colors that you want to do yours in. So here I have a piece that is 4 inches by 2.5 inches. And this is going to go right where, as a first layer, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So again, you can use your glue, you can use your tape, whichever one you want. And you're just going to align this in the bottom like this. You're going to do the same thing. So you're going to cut 2 of those pieces, 2.5 by 4. That's your first layer. And then whatever layer you want for your second layer, I chose this piece here, which is a collection from Stampin' Up, but it doesn't really matter which one you use. This is why it comes in handy to save your bits and pieces of designer paper that you have at home, because this doesn't take a whole lot of it, and you wouldn't need a full sheet in order to decorate it. And this particular piece is at 2 1/4, I believe. Yeah, 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. Okay, that's your second layer. So then you just add it on like this. Oops. And I try to line it and make sure that it's aligned not only up and down, but to the sides, to the bottom piece, so you don't have a piece off. So this is how this turns out, like this. The bigger one, I had a die cut with a circle that I just picked, but you could pick anything, because really, in reality, you could have a piece going like this, and all you would need to do is attach it to the bottom, and you'd have yourself a card. Or attach it to the top, whichever one. It really doesn't matter. In this particular card, I attached it to the top panel. Okay? I attached it to the top panel, so when I open it, it does this. If I attached it to the bottom panel, which would be this piece here, it would do the same thing. I would just open the bottom panel first, and then this one. So it really doesn't matter what you add as a piece, because this looks good too. It looks as good as this particular fancy piece. And it ends up being a really, really nice card. So to recap, I always like to show you the card. I'll specify if I'm working with a certain stamp that this is the only way it'll work, but it never works like that with crafts. Making cards, it's whatever you have at home. So use the color coordinating, 2 pieces of cardstock. One you'll cut as a card, and you'll fold it in half. Then what you do is you measure half, which is 2 3/4, and you cut the piece off. So what I did is I slid the piece off, I cut down, and then I cut across, pulled it off, which I ended up with this particular piece here, which was right there. And then what I did is I cut another piece, but I added 1/4 inch. So this is the same size, but added 1/4 inch, folded, scored it 1/4 inch, and then I attached it to it. And you can see the attachment is in the back here. You can hardly see it because it's the same color. So from this part on, this is where you have fun decorating it, and you can use this part that you cut off to start off with to add in the center. So you wouldn't have to have a fancy doily kind of oval shape if you don't have any dies. You could corner around these, make this a beautiful piece, and then layer another piece of cardstock on top. This is just a leftover, but let's say you would end up with another piece of cardstock on top and a white piece where you could put your sentiment, picture, whatever you wanted to do with your cardstock. And you would do the same thing inside, which I did in this one here. I added a piece of contrasting cardstock with a piece of cardstock that you have at home, which I used this one here. And I used an oval in order to be able to put a sentiment and a signature. And that's it. That's as easy as that goes. If you're making 2 oval ones, I even made sure that they were aligned. So when you open it up, it just kind of, you didn't see it's not halfway across this way. It's all the way and all the way down. Okay? I think that's pretty clear. I hope so. If you have any questions, please never hesitate to contact me, because I'll be glad to give you a hand on how I made it and the exact measurements in writing if I have to. I just want you to have fun. And I hope you'll give this a try, because this is another way of making a card that changes the way of just a regular 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card. This is Yvonne. I'm going to sign out for this week. But again, I'll be back next week with another surprise. And in the meantime, have yourself a wonderful day. But most importantly, as I always say, be safe and stay happy. Bye-bye.